Chapter 63. In the splendid hall, neon lights flashed, and soft music slowly played. Because this was a hastily organized ball, there were no formal requirements, such as dance partners and costumes. However, the men and women who participated were still wearing suits and ties, and their dresses were fluttering. The students in the school who had endured the depressing atmosphere for so long seemed to finally have a chance to release their emotions. In the hall, everyone was eating and drinking heartily, talking and laughing non-stop, but there were still some exceptions. Belch picked up a glass of red wine, quietly turning his head to look behind him. The girl with long blonde hair was sitting on the sofa in the corner of the hall. Beside the sofa was a tall potted plant, the lush greenery blocking everyone's view of the ball. It also almost covered most of her body. If you didn't look closely, you wouldn't be able to tell that someone was sitting there. Belch took a sip of wine, turned around and was startled to find that at some point another person had appeared beside him. The girl with long, thick black hair smiled. She was wearing a burgundy floor-length dress, her figure was sexy, her plump red lips were slightly raised, one hand holding a glass and gently touching Belch's glass. "Hi, Belch, you're very famous, I've heard of you." The beautiful girl smiled brightly, her blue-gray eyes like iced curacao carried an intoxicating aroma, looking at Belch affectionately. Belch was stunned, realizing that this was the most famous and beloved girl in the school. Jennifer was the school beauty recognized by everyone. This was the first time Belch had spoken to Jennifer. Facing a sexy and beautiful girl, the boy in puberty was a little embarrassed, stammering in response, I know you too, you're the cheerleader, Jennifer. I remember the day of the fire, you were also in Music Alley, luckily you're okay. Belch tried not to act stupid in front of the school beauty, at least not to turn into a nervous boy who couldn't speak. But after racking his brain to think of a caring sentence, he suddenly realized that the words he said would be better left unsaid. This exchange dance was originally held to ease the lingering pain in everyone's hearts, but he brought up the incident in front of the people present at the fire. Belch. He just wanted to give himself 2 slaps. The eyes of the people around him occasionally looked at Belch and the girl beside him. Anyway, Jennifer's beauty was dazzling, and her own popularity was enough to attract everyone's attention at this dance. However, Jennifer was worthy of being the school beauty with both talent and beauty. She acted as if she didn't hear anything, automatically ignoring Belch's inappropriate words. She took a step forward with her eyes filled with laughter, pressing close to Belch. Actually, I've noticed you for a long time. Belch. The little boy looked at Jennifer in a daze. Before the joy of being noticed by the school beauty could even rise, he heard Jennifer continue, "Tonight's dance, can I ask you to be my dance partner?" Belch was extremely surprised, seeing Jennifer charmingly playing with a lock of hair in her hand, smiling ambiguously at him. His first reaction was to turn back to look at that corner. He quietly glanced at the corner of the hall, then looked at Jennifer again. The opportunity to dance with the school beauty was right before his eyes, but Belch still firmly refused in pain. "Sorry, but I probably can't." Jennifer's light blue eyes revealed disbelief. "Why?" Belch suppressed his regret, tried his best to stay calm, and said indifferently, "Because the adults in the house have set a rule that after 8 o'clock, I can't stay out, I must go home." The sexy girl seemed to be amused, her eyes swept over the corner where Belch had just looked. "Belch, do you know why I pay attention to you?" Jennifer's cool breath blew into his ear. Belch, who had never had a love interest, froze, his mind blank, and he shook his head in a daze. "Because you're always stubborn, unlike those ordinary losers." Jennifer smiled and said, her slender white fingers caressing the chest of the skinny teenager with short platinum hair, "You know? I've admired you for a long time, precisely because of your arrogance, pride, and domineering nature. I didn't expect that you're actually a good kid inside." Belch. He unconsciously widened his eyes in fear, immediately snapping out of his state of euphoria after being praised by the beauty queen, and quickly took 2 steps back. Arrogant, haughty, domineering. Were these words referring to him? Belch swallowed his saliva, turned his head to look at the corner of the hall, then seriously said to Jennifer, don't talk nonsense. I've always been a good student who listens to adults. If his sister heard these adjectives. Belch shivered involuntarily, his gaze towards Jennifer also changed from infatuation to resentment. He and this girl had never had any grudges. Why did she want to harm him like this? Jennifer. Seeing Belch looking at her like he was an enemy, her fingers clenched her wine glass so tightly that it turned white. Is this guy crazy? Belch's expression was extremely solemn. I have long since stopped hanging out with Henry and the others. I am a good person now, I will always behave properly, sincerely strive for goodness, establish a correct outlook on life, values, and worldview, will never cause trouble, respect the elderly and love the young, strive to become a useful person for myself, my family, my classmates, and society. He concluded seriously, so the words you said like stubborn, arrogant, haughty, have absolutely nothing to do with me. Jennifer's comment scared him to death. Fortunately, his sister didn't hear it. But because of the tension and also to reassure herself, Belch quickly read a passage from the How to Be a Good Person book that Siddle threw at him. Jennifer still looked at the teenager in front of her affectionately, the smile on her face did not change, but in her heart she had already confirmed. This guy was really crazy. Jennifer took a deep breath, however, she was not ready to give up here. She drank the red wine in one gulp, smiling happily as she looked towards the corner of the hall. Is that girl sitting there your dance partner? As far as I know, the party doesn't start until 8:30 tonight. Are you planning to leave that poor girl alone? Belch was puzzled. She's my sister, she'll come back with me. He thought for a moment, as if he suddenly understood something. Jennifer must have felt very embarrassed because she was a girl, and a beauty queen at that, taking the initiative to ask someone to dance but was rejected. When Belch rejected Jennifer, he also felt a little guilty. He said, my sister is very strict with me, the rule of not coming home too late was set by her. So it's not your fault that I rejected you, you're really charming, Jennifer. Belch mustered up all his courage to say this, not daring to look at the sexy black-haired girl in front of him. He lowered his head and was about to leave, but was stopped by a hand. Jennifer reached out, took the glass of wine in his hand, and shoved the empty glass in her hand into the boy's hand. Belch was stunned, hearing Jennifer giggle and asked, if you can't dance with me, can you give me a glass of wine? She sipped at the wet rim of the glass, leaving a fresh lipstick mark. Her seductive eyes did not leave Belch's until the young man seemed to react unexpectedly, blushing and clutching the empty glass as he ran away in a panic. Jennifer did not take her eyes off him until Belch's figure disappeared into the crowd. She rolled her eyes in dismay, finally looking towards the corner of the hall, turning the glass in her hand a few times, then giving a beautiful and elegant smile. Jennifer wore a red dress that revealed her graceful shoulders. As she walked towards the corner of the hall, she also attracted the attention of many people present at the ball. Hi, honey, Jennifer stood in front of the person sitting in the corner of the sofa, smiling charmingly, her voice extremely sweet. Why are you hiding alone in this corner? Why don't you go have a drink? The blonde girl was wearing casual clothes, completely unlike someone who had come to attend a ball. Her whole body was completely unattractive. She seemed to have realized that someone was talking to her, so she slowly raised her head. That face had almost perfect features, her beautiful blue eyes looked tired, in the flickering light, her emotions were unclear. Jennifer's confident smile suddenly stiffened. She had always been proud of her beauty, and was used to showing off because of it, never caring too much about other people's feelings. Before coming, she saw that this girl had a gloomy appearance, hiding in the corner, so she thought that she must be the type of girl like her best friend, needy, ordinary-looking, dull, and ignorant of the world. Now it seemed like the complete opposite. The exceptionally beautiful blonde girl looked up and looked at her coldly, seemingly not intending to speak. Jennifer's eyes were filled with calculation. Although it was different from what she expected, she still leaned close to the girl sitting on the sofa, her right hand with beautiful nails gently shaking the glass of red wine. Belch told me, you are his older sister, so I wanted to come over and take a look. Don't be so cold, it hurts my heart, my dear. Your younger brother is such a good kid. She giggled and said, he's just too young, so young that he still needs his family to take care of him, but I see that you're only in your teens. Aren't you afraid of turning into an old lady if you care too much? Her tone was friendly and casual, as if she was just joking, but also as if she was mocking. Occasionally, Jennifer swirled the red wine in her glass, her plump lips curled into a smile, looking arrogantly at the girl on the sofa, as if looking at an inferior creature of no equal. It's better to learn to let go. If you keep controlling the life of a poor boy like a pervert, even I, an outsider, will start to feel pity. The blonde girl looked at her indifferently, her expression calm, as if she still had no emotions, only her eyebrows moved slightly. Do you like him? Jennifer handed the glass of wine in her hand to her, smiling innocently. That's right, your little brother is very cool, I like him very much. Would you like to have some wine? There was still a bright red lipstick mark on the rim of the glass. Jennifer faced the blonde girl, smiling gently and said, giving your glass of wine to a girl at a ball, it seems like this little brother of yours doesn't completely listen to his sister, huh? Wouldn't it be better for you and your family to learn to let go of some of your demands? The blonde girl stared at the tall glass with lipstick stains on it. She was silent for a moment, but then she reached out and took the wine glass with two slender fingers, gently shaking it, her eyes focused, as if studying the red lipstick on it. The smile on Jennifer's face became more and more obvious, and she suddenly heard the girl sitting on the sofa calmly reply, "Can you come a little closer?" She squinted her eyes, thinking that this girl wanted to say something to her. Jennifer leaned forward slightly. Siddle shook the remaining wine in the glass, her eyes cold. The next moment, she gently waved her hand, and the glass containing red wine shattered. It hit Jennifer's head.